Carolina State team led by the ACC Player of the Year, TJ Warren, is averaging almost 25 points per game. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by T. Rowe Price. For Syracuse, Jeremy Grant, his second game back from kind of a persistent lower back problem that cost him a couple of games, cost him parts of 2 other games. This is not a deep team, Sean. They're a different team when Grant is in there.
His ability to rebound the basketball, 6 double-doubles on the season. He averages just under 3 offensive rebounds per game, finishes them with great aggressiveness.
Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim, 947 wins, the only men's Division I coach with more. As Mike Krzyzewski, 5 Big East championship titles. He says this is not about trying to improve your seed. This is about playing well, winning a game tonight. For Mark Gottfried, they don't yet appear on the bubble, according to Joe Lenardi, and our bracketologist. Mark Gottfried feels they've already got a pretty good case, but he says, you know what better opportunity could you have than to pick up a signature win against a program like Syracuse here tonight?
It's a very simple formula. Win, and you put yourself in a better position. Win again, you're in a better position. Win again, you got the automatic bid. So you control your own destiny. For North Carolina State, the matchup here that I think is really important too is finding that secondary score. In the first matchup, it was Kyle Washington. Ralston Turner can be a guy against the zone that can bust it from the outside.
A 1-point win for the Cuse over the Wolfpack at the Carrier Dome in February. As always, of course, Syracuse in the 2-3 zone.
You're going to see Vandenberg and now Washington working. Warren will stay on the wing and then go to the corner.
Tyler Lewis misses the 3. A battle for the rebound. And it's rejected. Washington rejected by Christmas, who had 7 blocks in the first game. This is a key. Cooney can't hit the 3. Offensive rebound, Grant. And has passed it up. Fair from the baseline. He misses a wide open 10-footer. It'll be Syracuse ball. That was an eventful 45 seconds.
Well, aggressive on the defensive end. You mentioned Christmas in the first matchup. Had 7 block shots. Starts this one off. Understanding Washington wants to turn over that right shoulder. Get to that left hand.
Fair on the drive. And the lefty doesn't get the bounce. Jordan Vandenberg down with the rebound. Lewis the push to Warren. So tough in transition. He's just going to bulldoze it, and he draws a foul on Ennis.
That's what we showed you in the one-on-one. And when you do rebound the basketball, sprint the lanes, get out wide, and then look to aggressively attack the back line of the defense. Put pressure on them. Don't allow them to get into their zone. Try to see if you can score early. And TJ Warren, nobody better in the country right now scoring the basketball.
Had 83 points in his last 2 regular season games. Had 24 last night against Miami. Had 23 in the game against Syracuse a few weeks back. You hold them to 20, 22, even 24. Opposing teams feel pretty good about themselves after.
Well, I think the key in how many shots does it take for him to get his points. If he is shooting efficiently, and that's what he's been doing as of late, then that's problematic for opponents.
Fair pulls up from the elbow. Warren might have gotten a piece of it because the shot fell well short, and it is out of bounds to the Wolfpack. And C.J. Fair telling the official Mike Eads that he got fouled on that play. Jamie Luckey and Jerry Heater, the other officials tonight.
Well, C.J. Fair coming out very aggressive. You mentioned his numbers over the last 2 games. He's shooting 55% from the floor, 25 points per game. 0 for 3 at the start. First time Syracuse has taken the floor here in Greensboro.
Pittsburgh and Notre Dame also new to the ACC this year. Pittsburgh impressive today. Had to hold on at the end, mind you. But they have beaten North Carolina. They'll take on Virginia in the first semifinal tomorrow afternoon. Warren, though, kept alive by Vandenberg, but down to Grant. Such an important player for Syracuse to have Jeremy Grant back and healthy. Fair on a and he'll finish strong.
Great job by Syracuse getting out in the open floor. C.J. Fair, electric when he gets to the rim.
Tyler Lewis at the point for the Wolfpack in his last 9 games. 40 assists and 4 turnovers. What makes him go? What makes him tick?
Just great awareness and vision of the floor. Doesn't force the action. Sometimes you may want to see him be a little bit more aggressive with the pass. But he is a pass-first guard who is very comfortable just staying on the outside, surveying the defense, making the simple play.
They don't guard Vandenberg, and he knocks down the short jumper. Grant in the paint, off to Fair. The extra pass, and Christmas is fouled by Vandenberg.
The defensive transition, you've got to be able to get back. Syracuse sprints the lane, good ball reversal action, Ennis with the pass ahead, and Fair at the rim. He'll come right into your living room.
C.J. Fair, a terrific season, 17 points per game. A senior, a guy who stuck around for 4 years, and there was progression in his game every single year.
Well, his ability to drive the lane, he usually loves to gather and spin. But this year, that strong finish in the paint, he has been their guy, their go-to guy. After being a player that had to kind of earn the opportunity to get the majority of the shots and make that transition in.
1 of 2 for Christmas.
We're talking about great young point guards in this conference. And Tyler Ennis obviously has garnered a lot of the attention. London Perantes, the talented freshman at Virginia. 2 guys that just come in and stabilize the offense and the defense.
Jordan Vandenberg with another basket. He's not a big scorer for them. He gets 4.3 points per game, but he's an important player, size, rim protector. Any offense they get is a bonus.
Well, and in particular in the zone and where he's found some success in the early stages, catching that ball in the middle portion of the paint. That's where you've got to attack this Syracuse zone. If they collapse, you kick it out to Turner, you kick it out to Warren, and they're looking to create.
Grant. Strong move inside. Grant averaging 12 points, 7 rebounds per game. So you can see what they were missing when they were without him for a few games. And again, they're not deep at all. They'll bring Bogner Sakita in off the bench, Michael Benajay, and that's about it. Lewis. And down to the rebound, Fair. Ennis always in control, always under control as he leads Syracuse up the floor. And Cooney will slip inside and draw the foul.
Good job by Cooney there to draw the foul on Turner on the last possession, though. Getting in the paint and finishing. And Jeremy Grant can finish with the best of them in college basketball in the paint. Utilizes his great wingspan to go opposite of the shot blocker and finish with a reverse layup.
How big of a key for Syracuse is Trevor Cooney?
When we spoke with Coach Boeheim before the course of the game, said when he makes shots, we're a really good basketball team. And lately, he's been struggling. The last 6 games from beyond the arc, just 20%. He was 43% for the first 25 games of the year. And a lot of that has to do with the defenses, the scout shading an extra step towards him, taking contested shots, being physical with him as he's coming off of screens.
Even with the struggles recently, still 38% on the season from beyond the arc, and he's a volume three-point shooter. He's made 127 of them this year in 31 games. And a travel is the call on Warren.
Well, Cooney's numbers, you see where they're at points per game. Everything has dipped over the last 6. Now, his role obviously changed dramatically from a season ago to this year. The minutes have increased. The responsibility has increased, but still, as Coach was telling us the other day, we feel like he's been taking some good shots. He's just got to have the confidence to knock them down.
Ennis misses the 3.
He hit a couple of big threes actually against Florida State that really helped him win that game.
Trying to trap Lewis. He avoids it. Hits Washington, who misses the jumper, and Grant snares another rebound.
Vandenberg was open underneath. They needed to make the extra pass there.
Looked like Cooney was caught between a pass and maybe a 28-footer there. And he wound up turning it over. The Orange up by first team by the coaches. And when you think you got Fair, Warren, guys like that, Warren the player of the year, deserving first teamers, you think about some guys who are on the second team in this league. Guys like Rodney Hood, who we'll see in the second game. Tyler Ennis, who's a Wooden Award top 15 finalist. A lot of pretty good individual talent.
And named to the Cousy Award finalist list today. A lot of great names there. And I think there's just a lot of talent in this conference. And perspective-wise, where we're at nationally on the ACC, we touched on this last night, Dan. November and December shaped the view of this conference. Virginia wasn't Virginia in November and December that they are now. Notre Dame, BC, they came in with high expectations. They failed to meet that bar. And when they did that, nationally, the perception of the conference wasn't as strong as we anticipated. Plus, given the fact North Carolina was also going through the highs and lows of their non-conference.
Good deep position for Christmas. Jump hook won't go. And down to the rebound, Warren. On the other end, Cat Barber checked in for the first time for NC State. Hadn't committed a turnover in his last 3 games. Just a few seconds into entering this game, he committed one here. And you wonder, with 2 point guards, is one better suited than the other against the zone? Great ball movement. Terrific ball movement by the Wolfpack there.
That was just an outstanding attack against the zone. Working in the short corner, and if you're at the elbow, you dive to the rim. That's good rotation over for the weak side of the defense. but the aggressive move going through the arm lured Washington a trip to the free throw line.
And a nice pass by Vandenberg. Again, the contributions are subtle sometimes, but he does some pretty important things for this.
And that's what Coach Godfrey was telling us before the game. Is said, remember the first 4 games we didn't have Vandenberg. When we played against Cincinnati, we didn't have him. When we played against North Carolina Central, we did not have him. And although he's not a scorer, his contributions we've already seen tonight have been large in the early stages of this game.
Well, can't teach size. And 7'1", 245, down 40 pounds from a year ago. A noticeable difference. And playing his best basketball. He's a 5th-year senior from Australia. Cooney hunting that shot in and out, and a rebound down to Washington with a double-double in the game against Syracuse in February. Turner, 5 threes last night against Miami, misses this one. And this nice cross-court look, Cooney, and Barber stays right with him. Warren defending fair at this end of the court.
It's a great matchup. Warren sometimes can overextend trying to create the steal and allow you to get behind him. It's something you've got to be careful of, especially with C.J. Fair.
Christmas a little short. Vandenberg the rebound. They'll push a little bit more with Barber in the game, but Barber makes a mistake, turns it over. Fair challenged by Turner, slams it with 2 hands.
The Barber has got to be much stronger with basketball if he wants to play here tonight against this opponent. Remember, he had the big turnover down the stretch in that game that ended up leading to the game-winning basket for Syracuse.
Washington flashing into the middle. We haven't seen Warren get into the middle of that zone. He's been on the wing more. Washington throws it way too hard off the glass. Back comes Syracuse. Ennis, little shovel pass off to Grant. And Grant called for the travel.
On defense, you want to make sure you have active hands at all times. Barber over dribble, penetrates, leaves his feet, tries to pass it back and throws it right through the arms of C.J. Fair. And he knows what to do with it once he has it. Second time he's been able to get out in front of the defense and finish at the iron.
And it's one thing you hear a lot about teams who are playing against Syracuse. You can have your scout team set up in a 2-3 zone in practice. You can't simulate the length that Fair and Grant provide on the wings of that zone.
Well, and the way that they move in sync, that's the key to the whole 2-3 zone. The way everybody talks, communicates, is all the moving parts are working behind it.
Warren. Fadeaway jumper, no. Leonard Freeman in off the bench with a rebound, but rejected by Baimu Sakita, but it will stay with the Wolfpack. Freeman, Desmond Lee, and B.J. Anya all into the game now for NC State.
And the thing about the zone, too, when you have the length that Syracuse has, year in and year out, the reason why it's so successful is it often, you think something's there, and you see it, but their length and their ability to recover take it away before you even have a chance.
And there you see an example of it right there on the inbounds attempt.
See, I like to see T.J. Warren start working the baseline and then try to sneak in behind the back line of this zone defense. He's been standing on the wing, and because of it, he's been inactive and not part of the offense.
And with this group, the ball swinging around the perimeter a lot more than it did with the first group, with the 5 starters for NC State. And Warren misses the 3, and now numbers for Syracuse. Michael Benajay open in the corner. And Kita's headed to the free throw line.
Offensive rebounds, an opportunity to get second chance points. For that last possession, you're talking about the ball just going on the outside. It's called a windshield wiper. The ball's rotating around. The defense is shifting side to side, but you're not making it collapse. You're not making the ball get into the paint. You know, you don't have to throw the ball at the free throw line. Obviously, that's an easy entry point. But you can also look to attack off the bounce. You can screen the top of the zone. T.J. Warren took a shot that you could take at any point in time in that possession. An NBA three-pointer, they're going to give T.J. Warren. He's now 0 for 3 on the game.
And Mark Godfrey doing a little bit of coaching and teaching over there about how to try to dissect the zone. And different teams do it different ways. Some Some teams send a center into the middle. Some teams send kind of a wing guy who's a triple threat guy. Some people send a guard into the middle of the zone. Everybody tries to go about it a little bit differently. But nobody's had too much success against it. When Syracuse struggled, it was more because of offense than defense. They have not been a good offensive team recently, with the exception of the game at Florida State on Sunday.
A better overall position offensively that time for North Carolina State. His production has been outstanding in the last couple of games, and they need him beat back, though. They can get maybe through the Big 12 tournament. I don't know if they're going to be able to win the championship without him, but they need him if they're going to have a legitimate chance to win a national championship.
In your opinion, and we overtalk #1 seeds, I think, a little bit, but let me throw this at you. Who's got the inside track for the 4th #1 seed? What team out there, if they win their conference tournament, is going to get?
I'll give you 3. It's Kansas would be first.
Yep.
And then I think the winner of the ACC tournament would be second. And then Michigan has an opportunity if they win the Big Ten championship. You talk about slow starts. How about being from the state of North Carolina has not done well for you today? North Carolina Tar Heels started 3 of 19. North Carolina State now just 2 of 13 shooting from the floor.
And Ralston Turner, a huge contributor last night of the win over Miami, just picked up his 2nd foul. They need offense from Warren. He's 0 for 3, 2 free throws, 2 points. 8.5 minutes into this game. Fair with a jumper. Well short. Warren with a rebound. Barber still at the point for the Wolfpack. And a block is the call on Benajay, as we say hello again to Janine Edwards.
Well, Dan and Sean, you guys had pointed out that Godfrey was talking to Warren as he was sitting down, and you were mentioning that Warren was not moving around much. And that is exactly what Godfrey was talking about in this last timeout. Not just Warren, but they're not getting any ball movement on offense. They've got to keep that ball movement. And I know, especially last night at halftime, he had to remind TJ Warren, you can't just stand there. You've got to be more aggressive. You've got to move around a lot more.
And there's Warren in the middle of the zone, missing a decent look. Loose ball bounces to Barber. Fresh 35, NC State, and Warren makes good on the 2nd attempt.
That's exactly where I love to see TJ Warren. Short corner or at the elbow, that free throw line area. And when you put him in there, he's so quick on his release. Even if you're a great shot blocking team, Syracuse has great length. You can still get it up over the top.
First field goal of the night for the ACC leading scorer and player of the year, TJ Warren. And 4 players in off the Wolfpack bench along with Warren right now. Grant misses the 18-footer. Long rebound run down by Benajay. A great job to save it as he goes toppling over the table down to our left. Now a turnaround fadeaway by Ennis won't go. And B.J. Anyolf, 6'9", 325 pounds of him, rips down the rebound.
So strong. Great wingspan, able to corral that ball and bring it in. Young man has a wingspan of 7'9".
There's Freeman in the middle and deflected away by Ennis.
TJ Warren, that last offensive possession, working that high post area. Missed the first one, got right back into position as Barber looked to make the turn. Quick jump shot again. He's got a nice short release. Gets high arc on it. You see now TJ Warren's on the outside. I want to see him get back in that area where he just slid into from the wing. A good adjustment by Mark Gottfried and his coaching staff versus having him just wait on the outside.
Barber, a nice pass down to the baseline, and Leonard Freeman slams it home to tie the game. Tied at 11. No Ennis in the game right now for Syracuse, so Benajay is the de facto point guard for the Orange.
Much better offensive approach right now for North Carolina State in the last 2 possessions.
Cooney back to Fair. Little crossover, and he is tripped by Lee. And he's all right.
Now watch the ball as it starts to drive in. You're overloading the strong side of the zone. So you have 3 guys on one side, and that forced the back line to step up on the dribble penetration. And then that vacated the lower block and able to get up to the rim. Good job for North Carolina State.
There, the handoff to Benajay. Benajay wants a screen. Calling Christmas out. Now it goes the other way. Lee's a terrific defender, very athletic, staying right with Cooney, not giving him any space. Nice move by Fair. Fair's getting some decent looks, not having a whole lot of luck on the rim right now.
And even a better job, though, on the weak side. Freeman boxing out, drawing the foul. Rebounding was a big key for North Carolina State in that first meeting. They had 3 guys with double-doubles. It was a point of emphasis to get on the glass. We mentioned off the start of today's broadcast, North Carolina State rebounding percentage at the defensive end of the floor. They allow their opponents to get 36% of their misses and turn them back in.
T.J. Warren knocks down another one. And Trevor Cooney shaken up. A team that, as we mentioned, is not deep at all, and a team that needs that guy to knock down shots if they're going to play to their potential.
And we see fighting over the top of a screen. See if there's anything that indicates a point of discomfort. And when he left the ground, it didn't look like it, but it's when he came down.
Looked like he rolled that right ankle. So Benajay right back in there with Ennis in the backcourt. Fair pulls up. Now 2 for 8 from the field, and Christmas is fouled. Anya called for the foul. This is of great concern. With an ankle, you never know. 5 minutes later, it can feel fine, or it can feel a heck of a lot worse than it feels right now.
And they need to figure it out, and they need him to be healthy, most importantly, because he is really the lone guy on this team that can stretch you from the outside. And those numbers are down, but such a vital role. And Coach Boeheim told us we have to have Trevor Cooney making shots for us to be a good team.
Over the top to Fair. Another low-scoring game here with the ACC tournament. We're almost 12 minutes in. 13-11 NC State. You can see Syracuse just shooting 18% from the field.
What North Carolina State has done a very good job at is forcing them to shoot up over the top. That's how they allowed them to split the defense in the acrobatic finish.
Grant's had a couple of those highlight reel plays tonight as he ties the game.
Think about the 4 field goals made. You had 2 at the rim with C.J. Fair getting runouts, and then Grant making acrobatic layups in traffic.
So no field goals for Cooney or Ennis tonight for Syracuse. Warren. Just short, keeps it alive, gets it back, puts it up, draws the foul. And he does not give up on the play. Tied at 13 with Cooney outshone, but not in the act. Had it been called in the act, it would have been 2 points and Warren to the line. Instead, State wasn't even in the bonus, so it was ball on the side. Then they turned it over. So a big call, a big turnover, and a narrow escape for Syracuse up at the Carrier Dome.
And remember, that was a game that had to get moved as far as tip time because of the travel issues that North Carolina State had just trying to get there. No such travel issues for North Carolina State getting to Greensboro.
The game was supposed to be at 3 in the afternoon. There was all kinds of bad weather. And Mark Gottfried called Jim Boeheim and he said, we're coming, but we're having trouble getting a plane. We're having trouble getting out of Carolina. So both sides agreed to move the game later. They landed just after 3 in the afternoon, went to the hotel, changed into their uniforms, went to the Carrier Dome, suited up, played, went home.
In some retrospect, I think it kind of helped North Carolina State. You didn't have to think about it. You weren't sitting in your hotel. You're probably more concerned whether or not you're actually even going to get there.
That'll be a held ball. It will stay with Syracuse as we check in again with Janine.
Well, guys, not only did Trevor Cooney cut his finger, so they had to put a Band-Aid on that, but they gave him some anti-inflammatories for his right ankle. It is an ankle sprain. He had tape on it previously. They took his shoe off. They retaped it. They put additional tape over it. He should be rejoining the game at some point, but this is a kid that has really taken it hard, the fact that he's been in a shooting slump lately and has been doing extra work, more than usual, to get his shot back. So he's very frustrated right now.
So the finger's cut, the ankle's sore. He's on the bench, and C.J. Fair's 2 for 10. They need some offense from somebody.
Well, right now, both teams need to find some offense from somebody. And Jeremy Grant, 2 for 3. The rest of the team now is 2 of 17 shooting for Syracuse.
Fair the foul, his first. Grant looking completely covered from the back problems. Remember, he came back against Florida State Sunday at 16 points, 8 rebounds. Desmond Lee to the line now for NC State. A vertical leap of 41.5 inches for the former junior college All-American. And look who's back. Looks like he's favoring it a little bit, but Cooney's back in the game.
We'll see how he's able to perform. But you mentioned Lee. I think this is a young man at the start of the season that they wanted to see kind of emerge as a scoring option. He was a scorer at the junior college ranks. You mentioned his ability to jump. His ability to drive as he did there and get to the free throw line has been a big part, but he's rarely gotten there as of late.
And he's covering Cooney. Warren is covering Fair. And it's the drive, the floater. Grant the offensive rebound. Vandenberg is preventing Grant from getting a shot off. It'll stay with Syracuse. The Orange are missing shots they typically make. That's a shot Ennis makes. Fair is missing shots he typically makes tonight.
And part of that, I think, is just first time in this tournament, first time in this building. We've seen it for other teams that have got their first start today. North Carolina, sluggish, first time they took the floor. When you play in, you have an opportunity to gain a little bit of momentum.
Ennis looking for Cooney. Cooney from the corner. Got it!
He saw a little fist bump there. You know how much that means to him right now, just to see the ball go through the basket.
And Syracuse back on top after the Cooney three. Washington in the middle of the zone. Warren creeping around on the baseline right now for the Wolfpack. In and out on the three for Lee. A battle for the rebound. And the held ball will give it to NC State.
And Trevor Cooney, finger has a Band-Aid on it. The ankle's been bothering him. He just flattens out to the corner. A step slow in rotation for Lee. And that's poor recognition on Lee's part. He needs to understand that as Cooney's going to the corner, you need to go with him and be there on the catch. Had a little bit of space, able to knock it down.
Ralston Turner back into the game for the Wolfpack with 2 fouls. Rakeem Christmas remains on the bench for Syracuse with 2 fouls. We've got 5:40 to go in the first half. The winner of this game will play the winner of our next game tonight. That'll be Duke and Clemson in the second semifinal tomorrow afternoon. Already advancing earlier today, Virginia and Pittsburgh into semifinal number 1 here in Greensboro.
The ball has yet to get inside the painted area. Finally it does.
Deflected, saved, or was it? No, Mike Eade says Fair was out of bounds.
You see too much of just passing it back and forth on the outside for North Carolina State. Get back to what they were doing out of that first time out for Coach Gottfried, which was movement, being active, cutting, driving. TJ Warren tried to drive in the middle that time, but wasn't on any balance. He didn't jump, stop, gather himself, and go up.
Ennis with a steal. A bad inbounds pass and an easy 2 for the Orange.
That might be the best outlet pass that Syracuse has the entire game.
It wasn't even a hard one for him to pick off.
No, that was in great momentum and allowed Ennis to go right down the floor and get the easy one.
And you can hear the Syracuse fans who have made their way down to ACC country starting to chant, "Let's go Orange." There's more red than orange, but there's a lot of orange. Lewis for 3 to tie the game.
He has struggled from beyond the arc the entire season. Was a much better shooter at the high school level. He's become such a facilitator and a pass first point guard. He rarely looks for his shot.
Just 21% from beyond the arc on the season. Ennis pulls up from the baseline, in and out, rebound Freeman. Lewis the push, and Warren might have gotten away with a travel. Will get the roll. Syracuse bench unhappy. They thought he walked on that play. Pace picking up. Grant grabbed by Freeman.
Well, Ennis, who usually, as you mentioned, makes those shots that we've now seen him miss 2 of those around the rim, allowed the run out opportunity. Warren rips through, gets in that area, 2-foot jump stop instead of going off of 1, so he doesn't lose control. He's got great shooter's touch, and that rolls in for him. But how fast did Syracuse bring it right back down the floor and pick up the foul on Freeman?
It's kind of an under-publicized aspect of their game. They want to get out and run when they can, and they're pretty good when they get out and run. There's Jerry McNamara on the left, one of the assistant coaches and one of the heroes of the 2003 National Championship team, talking to Tyler Ennis.
And people have this perception as a running team, how many possessions do you play during a 40-minute game? Syracuse, as you mentioned, likes to get out and run. They'll take it if it's there. If not, then yes, they're gonna pull it back out, and they're gonna try to find a higher percentage shot. But they want to go, and with their length and athleticism, when they fill the wings and they start sprinting out, they're as dangerous as any team in the country.
Into the final 4 minutes of the first half, the number 7 seed NC State leading the number 2 seed Syracuse by a point. The scores are generally low in Syracuse games. Teams take a lot of time looking for a shot against the zone. So generally speaking, it's a low possession game. Not a great look there for Warren. Down with the rebound, Ennis, and he's fouled.
A careless.
Andres, thank you. ESPN's coverage of the NCAA Men's Division I basketball tournament continues on Sunday. A special sports center at 5:30, and then at 7, it's bracketology. ESPN Selection Sunday, also available live on Watch ESPN. We just saw highlights from the A10 at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and all kinds of talk down here in the last couple of days that the ACC, which is locked into Greensboro for next year, and then Washington, D.C. the year after that, wants to move the tournament, at least on a rotating basis, on an occasional basis, up to the Barclays Center in New York. The A10 is locked into there through 2017. All kinds of published reports that maybe the Barclays Center or the A10 are talking about a deal, and the A10 wants something from the ACC, some non-conference games. Nothing has been admitted to, or at least publicly admitted to, by the ACC, but it sounds like at some point, Sean, this tournament, maybe not every year, but at least sometimes, is going to be in New York City.
I don't think it'll ever leave Greensboro permanently. I think it's been such a fixture, and that is just textbook how you break down the zone. But I do think it's good, especially as the landscape has changed, the geographical footprint of this conference has changed, that you are able to service the fan bases of all universities, not just the ones that dominate down here on Tobacco Road.
This is the 61st ACC tournament. This is the 25th time it has been in Greensboro. Way more often than anywhere else. League offices are here. This feels like the home of the ACC as Grant knocks down the baseline jumper. He's had a solid first half. But as you say, with Syracuse coming in, Pittsburgh coming in, Notre Dame's in, Louisville's coming in next year, it sounds like the changes are not done yet for this league. It is still finding itself and figuring out how it's going to evolve.
Well, of course, Maryland leaving next year to go to the Big Ten.
Lewis. Another three.
If he starts scoring, and I know they have both guards out on the floor right now, Barber and Lewis. Lewis will be the guy that ends up getting a majority of the minutes tonight, because the way he values the basketball, if he can provide an offensive scoring punch, is much needed right now.
Fair, who has not shot the three well this year, airballs one from the corner. He's had a tough first half, 2 for 11 from the floor.
These two teams combined right now just 28% shooting combined between the two of them.
Well, they got to close out on Lewis a whole lot more quickly now after he hit that last three.
And what that should do is it should extend out the top of the zone and create a weak spot there in the middle.
And there's part of the ability of Warren, the strength. Get him to show some excitement out there. They are trailing here in the first half. Let's check in with Janine.
And so far, they're holding up pretty well, guys. The Wolfpack is, after an extremely physical contest with Miami last night. They called the Miami players football players. Very, very physical team. So how did they recover? Well, their trainer, Ryan Holloman, was working all night using these Normatec machines that use compression to push toxins out of the legs and up into the bloodstream, and lots of protein.
All right, Janine, thank you. As Ennis draws the foul.
I did a similar thing last night, by the way. Just like did you? This broadcast.
Did you?
Yes.
And are you toxin-free today?
I am toxin-free, full of protein.
Third night in a row working for you. You're not used to that either. And actually, you had the red eye here from the West Coast Conference, right? So this is your 4th night in a row working. Fifth night in a row working.
But it's good. It's champ week. What else would you want to be doing right now?
Exactly right.
Speaking of slow starts for both these teams, North Carolina State started 5 of 19. They're now 5 for their last 6 from the field. So North Carolina State is starting to make the adjustments necessary against the zone defense.
Now for Jim Boeheim, maybe you're saying, hey, Fair's not hitting. Team's only shooting 27%. They're only down by 2. We had the similar conversation last night. But Mark Gottfried can say, well, T.J. Warren hasn't really gotten going.
Or Ralston Turner. I mean, you're relying on Tyler Lewis right now and Vandenberg underneath.
Yep. Shot clock at 8. Washington stripped. Loose ball, though, back. The shot clock did reset. I think Jim Boeheim's complaining about it resetting. And now we've got a foul going against Syracuse. I don't think Jim Boeheim thought there was a change of possession there, that the shot clock should have reset.
Well, Tyler Lewis will go to the free throw line on that drive, seeing it with contact, a 76% free throw shooter on the season. Tyler Lewis was sleight of frame a season ago. Got no competition with T.J. Warren in the offseason. They're roommates. Warren wanted to lose weight. T.J. Warren wanted to, Tyler Lewis wanted to gain weight. Lewis put on 15 pounds, and Warren lost 20 pounds. It's definitely paid off for Warren.
And the program's the big winner on both counts. Syracuse could hold for the final shot of another low-scoring first half here in Greensboro. Eight seconds. Grant. Fair. Has to adjust, gets it off, can't hit. And the first half comes to a close.
And doesn't that sum up the first half?
7 seed NC State with a 3-point lead on the number 2 seed Syracuse. Again, everybody, Dan Shulman and Sean Farnham. Both teams struggled shooting the ball early. One of them figured it out late.
North Carolina State 5 for the last 6. They were able to convert into made field goals. T.J. Warren, a big part of that. 4 for 10 shooting in the first half. 11 points. For Syracuse, they had a lot of looks that they normally knock down. They just were unable to convert, mainly coming off the hands of C.J. Fair.
Grant gets knocked down and draws the foul on Washington. You can see Syracuse shot just 26% in the first half. The free throw line helped keep them in it. C.J. Fair, he had some good looks. I mean, he had looks that he normally makes, but the first team all-conference performer, just 2 of 12 in the first half. Over to Janine.
Well, Dan, you know, not a lot of adjustments by Jim Boeheim at halftime. He basically likes what they're doing offensively. He likes the shots they're getting, although he'd like to see them make a few more. Maybe make T.J. Warren shoot over them, not let it be quite so easy for him. Try to push it when the opportunity presents itself. We mentioned Mark Gottfried talked about transition being key. And one other thing, maybe pay a little bit more attention to which Wolfpack player has the ball late in the shot clock. They weren't expecting 6 points from Tyler Lewis.
Lewis knocking down a couple of threes in the first half. Turner, who spent most of the first half in foul trouble, misses the 3. And then Washington is fouled on the rebound. If it's Christmas, it's his 3rd. And Christmas played only 8 minutes in the first half. He's the man in the middle of the zone. If he has to come out by Musakita, would come back in.
Well, good job by North Carolina State to get yet a second chance opportunity. We talked about second chance points last night, how important that is. And for a team like North Carolina State that doesn't get many opportunities like this, it slows the pace of the game down, allows them to get another opportunity. They need to start converting, though. Only 3 second chance points on 6 offensive rebounds in the first half.
Vandenberg shovel pass to Warren, and it's off Warren out of bounds, and Warren a little bit slow to get up. He moves like crazy without the ball, and he had a full head of steam coming down the lane.
He gave it up, saw the lane, and then looked to attack. And you can see as that shot was blocked, it came right back down and bounced off of T.J. Warren's head.
Good no call?
I think it was a fine no call.
Warren with a game-high 11 points, but he's had to work hard for it. Ennis looking for a corner 3. Off the fingertips of Grant, and here's Warren. Gets by Cooney and slams it.
They're taking the opportunity to run out. You don't have to go against the set defense. T.J. Warren is explosive. He pushes the ball out in front of him, takes up a lot of space on the bounce.
Ennis baseline floater. Follow no. off the fingertips of Christmas, but Ennis runs it down. Again, another shot that Ennis typically makes. Fair finally gets one to go.
Stepped in with good rhythm on that shot. You see the numbers, 3 of 13. He needs to get going here in the second half.
You know, the amazing thing is Ennis isn't hitting. Cooney's got a bad ankle. Christmas is in foul trouble. Fair's 3 for 13. They're down 1. We've had a few games in this tournament where it feels like it's a 15-point game, and it's a one-possession game. Again, the shovel pass from Vandenberg to Warren, and he draws the foul.
Christmas? Is that on Christmas? It could be his 4th if it is.
It is.
It is. And T.J. Warren out in transition. On the rebound, able to finish that time, though. The aggressiveness, pushing and attacking. And the bigger story is Rakeem Christmas is going to the bench with 4 fouls in 9 minutes of action tonight.
What do they lose with Christmas going out, Keita coming in?
Well, I think what we've seen from Christmas in the first matchup was a double-double, 7 block shots, the ability to protect the rim, and Christmas no need in that situation to reach up over the top when you know you have 3 fouls to pull yourself out. You lose the toughness on the glass, you lose a little bit of the scoring punch.
Keita can still block shots.
No question he can. But he's got to be active and make sure he's in the stance on the back line of that defense.
Cooney still appears to be favoring the ankle a little bit. Misses the 3. Tipped by Grant. Warren runs it down. And the follow is there for Washington.
That's T.J. Warren at his best, folks. That is driving right down Main Street. Nobody stops him. The back line of the defense has to step up to try to block the shot. And you sneak in behind him, and you get the offensive rebound and the putback.
Ennis behind the screen, knocks down the 3. Ennis 37% from beyond the arc of the season.
Good answer by the freshman, who time and time again this season has been the guy that has made the answer to the call for Syracuse. Tight games, late game situations, teams struggling. The freshman is willing to step up and take over.
One of the signature moments of the entire college basketball season, the shot he hit against Pittsburgh to win it. Vandenberg moving nicely without the ball.
A beautiful high-low entry pass against the 2-3 zone and a great finish underneath.
Vandenberg's 4 for 4, 8 points tonight. Well over his average. Grant is fouled by Vandenberg.
If we take a look at the execution against the zone, watch the ball get entered into the high post. You step up defensively. And Vandenberg, what he did extremely well there, it's a subtle thing, dude. He caught the ball, he kept it high, and just finished it. He didn't bring it down and try to gather. If he brings that ball down, that gives time for the defense to react and block that shot.
Already today, Virginia and Pittsburgh have advanced to the semifinals. They'll take on one another tomorrow afternoon. And the first game that we'll have for you, 1 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN. Our next quarterfinal game tonight is Duke and Clemson. The winner of that plays the winner of this. Clemson defeated Duke in the only regular season meeting between the two.
KJ McDaniels, a huge game. 24 points, 10 rebounds. He struggled last night. That shoulder seemingly bothering him a little bit. It's his off shooting hand shoulder, but still throbbing and impacting his overall play. They need a good game out of him tonight to have a chance against the Duke Blue Devils.
Lewis misses the runner. Here come the Orange, nearly thrown away. Fair saves it, drives it, and draws the foul.
That's T.J. Warren's fault defensively. He just fell asleep in transition that time. He could have stole that pass if he was in better position. C.J. Fair makes him pay by drawing the foul underneath. And you see T.J. Fair, that's the wrong side of your assigned coverage of the defensive end of the floor. You don't want to give your offensive player, allow him to get behind you and get a lane to the basket.
Fair at the line for the first time tonight.
And all the positives for North Carolina State, the good high-low entry pass, a made free throw here ties it.
They played a one-point game at the Carrier Dome in February. Syracuse winning 56-55. They're in a tie. Look at that. 8 ties, 8 lead changes. Nobody's been able to get away from anybody here in this one. Warren baseline, too strong. Runs it down and draws the foul. That's just hard work on the part of T.J. Warren.
That's where losing the weight in the offseason, all the extra conditioning pays off for T.J. Warren. A year ago, he doesn't make
by 4 early second half.
Well, that's a dangerous looking team come tournament time.
I think they're really starting to get back that swagger that we saw last year from them. Remember, they hit a rough spot in their schedule last year in conference play where they lost 3 consecutive games in January, rallied to find themselves, and then go on and win the national championship. And right now, they're playing at such a high level. You put them in that group of teams that have a legitimate chance to end their season in Texas, and Louisville is right there.
Warren at the line. And as was the case last night, adding to his totals at the free throw line, he's now got 16 points, and NC State is back up by 2. You know you're good when you score a quiet 24 or a quiet 25. I mean, he's playing well, but the points are piling up almost without us realizing it here for T.J. Warren. Fair with Barber on him, trying to back him down, and draws the foul.
A good decision that time by C.J. Fair. That is such a mismatch at the defensive end of the floor. There's no way that the young freshman can stop C.J. Fair when he catches it in that short corner where he's got his back to the basket. He can turn and face. He can attack off the dribble. Good job picking up the foul that time by C.J.
Fair, nice little bounce pass inside. Vandenberg with a rejection on Keita. Warren pulls it out. NC State each of the last 2 years got to the semifinals in this tournament, and 2 years ago they needed to get to the semifinals. They needed to run to make the NCAA tournament. They got to the tournament, went all the way to the Sweet 16 as Ennis ties the game with a floater.
You see the maturity by the freshman in the paint, and nobody's there to take the inbound pass. I mean, that is just a complete mental breakdown by North Carolina State. Realized that the ball wasn't bouncing on the floor or where it was as far as trying to get initiated into your offense, and that is just poor recognition that time by North Carolina State. They had to burn a timeout, one in a tight game that they couldn't possibly need down the stretch of this contest.
Dean Christmas remains on the bench with 4 fouls for Syracuse. Keita now anchoring the middle of the zone. Deep one for Turner. NBA range and then some. State back on top.
99 three-pointers made in his first 2 seasons at LSU. The transfer this year looked upon to stretch the defense. Scott Wood is gone. They needed somebody to fill that role.
Fair spins back to his strong side, misses the shot. Keita with a rebound, throws it away. Barber, 3-on-2 Wolfpack. Look at that bounce pass and the finish by Warren.
That's how you score in the open floor. As a point guard, you have great vision. You don't have to go against the 2-3 zone if you get out in transition like that. A nice job by Barber. As you mentioned it, the look back, the quick look back, and then after the look back, he exploded like he was a running back trying to get through the hole.
The 3 rattles out for Ennis. NC State, 5 quick points, 5-point lead, their largest of the night. Taking their time. And Turner, I guess that he was thinking Vandenberg was going in for the lob. Vandenberg caught it off the backboard. Shot clock doesn't reset, and they get a basket out of it. Just like Mark Godfrey drew it up in the timeout.
All right, here's what we're going to do, fellas. We're going to throw it high off the glass. It's going to ricochet off. Then get it back to Barber, and then relocate, and you'll get it done.
Wow. Put that one in the playbook for next year. 7-0 run now for the Wolfpack. Grant spinning and draws the foul.
Grant's been pretty quiet here in the second half. A nice job attacking the interior of the defense. At the opposite end of the floor, though, has been some great passing. Barber, little hesitation dribble as he splits the guards. Defense steps up, and Vandenberg gets in the arm.
Pretty good point guard play the last couple of nights for NC State between Barber and Lewis.
Well, and you see why people are so excited about him when he came onto campus this year. You know, and a lot of the discussion about Rodney Purvis transferring out, going to UConn. Who was going to fill that role? Tyler Lewis, could he do it on a full-time basis? But Barber has come in, and he has gotten better as this season has progressed. The McDonald's All-American, who was the centerpiece of last year's recruiting class.
And a couple of free throws for Grant.
And see, Grant is the player for me right now that I want to see ignite the energy for Syracuse. He does that so well over the course of the season, getting on the offensive glass, the putbacks. We haven't seen a lot of that out of Syracuse tonight.
Freeman inside, challenging Keita, and he scores.
The quality of shot is distinctly different right now between these two. The ability to get a clean look in the rim in the half-court set versus the look that Jeremy Grant had where he had to go to the free throw line. Freeman able to turn the corner, find the rim, draw the contact, and finish for the N1 opportunity.
Freshman out of Washington, D.C., just turned 18 in December as he misses the free throw. NC State with a 7-point lead. Syracuse started the year 25-0. They were the #1 ranked team in the nation for 3 weeks, then lost 4 out of 5. As Fair is fouled by Warren. Beat Florida State to wrap up the regular season. This is their first game here in this tournament, and they're getting all they can handle and then some from the Wolfpack. Reese, thank you. Kentucky, should they go on to win, or the winner of the Kentucky-LSU game will take on the winner of the Georgia-Ole Miss game. Florida and Tennessee are already in the semifinals. You can see the semis tomorrow on ABC, and the championship game here on ESPN Sunday afternoon after the championship game that you'll see from Greensboro here in the ACC. How many bids do you think are coming out of the SEC this year?
2, 3, maybe, possibly. I mean, I don't. There's not going to be many. That conference is so far down from where it has been in recent years.
Here's a steal by Barber. You're not going to catch him.
The turnovers have led to run out twice now. Barber on the pass to T.J. Warren, and that one for Barber to be able to finish.
What's different in your mind, Syracuse now versus Syracuse earlier in the season? Or is it just that they were winning so many close games that it was kind of bound to even out at some point?
Well, I think part of it is the fact that they're just struggling to score the basketball. And you and I were both talking about it during the break. You take away the Florida State game down the stretch, the final game of the regular season, it was 9 consecutive games where they scored 62 or fewer points. They're just not making shots. Now, some of that falls on Trevor Cooney. But tonight, you can't really look at Cooney. Cooney's only attempted 4 shots. And they're missing free throws. Christmas is on the bench with 4 fouls. He comes back in the game now with 11.5 minutes left to go. And you've just kind of got to energize this team and get some of those momentum baskets. They're so good on the boards. They're -4 in this game against North Carolina State, who's not a great rebounding basketball team.
Tonight, Fair's 3 for 14. Ennis is 3 for 10. And as a team, Syracuse is only shooting 28%.
A lot of this, too. I mean, you look at North Carolina State, you've got to credit them for how hard they're competing, but some just, they're missed shots. You get them on the rim, it looks like it's clean looks. They're shots that normally you expect to go down.
Warren. Tough shot from just inside the foul line. Sometimes it seems the tougher the shot, the more likely it is it's going to go in for him.
He's off balance, going through the paint. He has made that time and time again, especially in this stretch where he has been playing at such an elite level.
He's got 20, and State's up by 10. And Fair struggling to maintain possession, finds Ennis. Grant. He's been the best offensive performer tonight for Syracuse.
Oh, and that was a complete breakdown of the defense by Barber. Barber was guarding Grant and tried to communicate that he wanted to switch. He left him wide open. Grant saw that he had the lane, able to finish. When North Carolina State makes a mistake, you've got to be able to finish. And Grant that time was able to get it done.
3rd foul on T.J. Warren. Grant leaves it short. And a tie-up. It'll be State ball. Over to Janine.
Well, guys, Mark Gottfried does not want the Wolfpack playing quite as aggressively and fouling Syracuse anymore in this game. He says, we're giving them cheap points, and we don't have to do that. They are a very confident bunch right now. I can tell you it's trickling down from Gottfried, the coaching staff, to the players. They're very confident. They're getting the ball inside. They're being able to run in transition when they want. They're very pleased with the way things are going.
A turnover, though. Ennis ahead to Benege, and the Orange are back within 6.
Let's see if that ignites the offense here a little bit. It started with the defense. They're feeling comfortable, confident. That's fine. But if you get too confident, if you're too comfortable in your set, Syracuse is going to be able to create turnover opportunities. Look at the pressure picking up now.
Even though there's a foul, you like the decision to pick it up?
I do. I like the decision because Syracuse has been flat for a majority of this game. Tyler Ennis sees the crossover. Barber a little lazy with it. Picks him, and then the throw ahead right away to get up. And we saw this 3 times in the first half. Syracuse able to get runouts and dunks, and now they pick up the intensity of the defensive end. And even though it's a foul, I want to see a more aggressive Syracuse team down the stretch in the final 9:58 of this game.
3rd foul on Grant. Wolfpack ball up 6 just past the midway point of the second half. Cooney on the bench right now. Benege and Ennis at the top of the zone. Again, Christmas playing with 4 fouls.
We saw it last night. North Carolina State is susceptible to turnovers, and those turnovers lead to points. Those points cut into deficits, and then all of a sudden shift the pressure and takes the momentum away from your opponent.
Warren down on the baseline, now comes up to get the ball, goes to the baseline, has it knocked away, gets it back, and converts again. Another good second effort.
He just stays with the play.
He has earned his 22 points here tonight. Grant pounded by Freeman. 15 on the shot clock. Ennis for 3. Got it.
A great job recognizing the defense had gapped up, left space. And Tyler Ennis, see if that shot carries over to the defensive end of the floor. They have to have an awareness of where T.J. Warren is. He has absolutely been eating them up now. That second chance opportunity, staying with the pass.
Warren this time inside of the free throw line, doesn't get the bounce. Fair down with a rebound. Christmas over Anya off the back of the iron, and look who's got it again with a second and a third effort to corral that rebound. That's his 8th.
And North Carolina State very content on this possession to pull it back out.
Turner misses the 3. Grant the rebound.
And Warren's lucky he wasn't called for his 4th personal foul right there.
Fair off balance, can't finish. And the struggles continue for C.J. Fair. 3 for 15.
And with the way he was playing coming in the previous 2 games coming in here, he shot 55% from the floor and was averaging 25 points. He's now just 1 for his last 10.
Turner for 3. Yes. What a weapon he's been the last couple of nights for the Wolfpack.
7 made 3-pointers in the last 2 games now.
With 5 of them and 22 points in all last night against Miami. Ennis trying to do it himself, and he converts.
And Tyler Ennis is the one offensive player right now for Syracuse that is playing with confidence and is seeing the ball go through the basket on a consistent basis.
Ennis with 16. Grant's got 15. Everybody else really struggling right now for the Orange. Down 6.
Williams 107 points, shooting 60% from the floor. His shooting percentage not as high as it has been, but yet his effectiveness has been as far as making an impact on this game.
The field goal percentage is creeping up for both teams. Syracuse was down in the 20s much of the night. They're at 33 now. NC State up to 49%. You don't see that often against Syracuse. NC State also +5 on the glass. Turner again. And Benajay just soaring for the rebound, but called for the travel when he came down. Timeout on the floor. State leading by. Keep an eye on right now. Again, Kansas playing without Joel Embiid, but Iowa State not to be taken lightly as they look like they're on their way to the Big 12 championship game. Here, it's NC State leading Syracuse by 6. 6:44 to go. This is quarterfinal action in the ACC. And it's a travel on Barber. And Barber would have been much better off just chasing that ball down into the backcourt, not trying to catch it in the front court. A little hop step with the right foot and another kind of careless play, another unforced error, and the travel is right there.
But it creates an opportunity for Syracuse. And right now you take Grant and you take Tyler Ennis. They're shooting 53% combined. The rest of the team 22% from the field. Somebody else needs to step up.
Got to be Fair or Cooney. Ennis behind a screen, knocks down another three. Ennis with 19 to lead the Orange.
Coach Boeheim told us before the game that when Grant went down with an injury, the shot attempts went up for Tyler Ennis. He thought they would go back down, but tonight, with the way that he's shooting the basketball, they need him to continue to be aggressive and hunt for his shot.
And how about, in addition to the 19 points, 6 assists, 3 steals, no turnovers tonight for the freshman.
One of the best in the country at valuing the basketball.
We mentioned one of the 6 finalists for the Cousy Award as the best point guard in the nation. Washington, no. Grant with another rebound. He's feeling it. Tipped back out, but tipped too far. But it'll be Syracuse ball. Lee reached for it, got a fingertip on it, but couldn't keep it in bounds. And Mark Gottfried, you can see in his eyes, they have let some things slip away here. They've handed the ball back to Syracuse on a couple of occasions.
This fan base for Syracuse that is in attendance is just waiting to explode. They want to erupt. A made basket here will put them on their way.
Cooney to Grant. Grant the lob and the finish by Christmas to make it a 1-point game.
That was great execution in the half-court set. Good ball reversal. Throw it up over the top. Let's see if it carries over now. North Carolina State, the pressure and the tempo of this game is starting to get to them. Maybe the visions of the last time that they played against Syracuse and the turnovers down the stretch and how it impacted that game.
Lee penetrates. And it is NC State ball. Mike Eads was on the baseline, asked for help. And Jamie Lucky said that ball was deflected out by Syracuse. Another look at the lob.
A beautiful pass over the top. Christmas gets there. Vandenberg slowing his rotation back. Excellent job. Excellent elevation. And now it just comes down getting the stop, getting it back on. The momentum of the offensive side finally on Syracuse.
Warren just hunting his shot and draws the foul. And the Syracuse bench and players on the court in disbelief. And if you can read lips, you know how Jim Boeheim felt about that call.
He said, I believe, I don't think that's a foul.
You're paraphrasing.
Yes.
I disagree with that foul call. He doesn't like it at all. Warren back to the free throw line where he's been making a living the last couple of nights.
Part of the reason why Warren is able to get a lot of those calls is not just because he's the leading scorer in the conference, but it's how he approaches his shot. He's a little bit off balance. He moves his arms into the defense, draws that contact. Even if you're not reaching in, they're giving it to him.
And Warren makes it a 3-point game. 4:45 to go. The winner into the semifinals tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern. Grant will head to the free throw line.
I think that one's on Warren.
No, Kyle Washington.
Yeah.
The 9th team foul. Both teams are over the limit. And Grant's been a frequent visitor to the free throw line tonight.
He's got 16 points, and 8 of them have come from the free throw line. He's done an excellent job drawing fouls, and that's where, I think right now, when your teammate's struggling offensively, Ennis is carried the shoulder load. Grant needs to continue to be aggressive and put pressure on the back line of North Carolina State.
1-point game again. Syracuse has not led since late in the first half. Lewis at the point. Turner up top with him, and again Warren sneaking around on the baseline. Look how high the wings come up. Look where Grant is before he backs off.
They're doing a good job elevating the back line of the defense. There's just nobody back there that they can throw it to.
Shot clock at 4. It'll be Warren, rejected by Grant. Here come the Orange with numbers. Ennis. And a block. It's a late call. A very late call, but a block is called. Is that Warren down there? No, it's Turner who will get called for the foul. And Ennis will be heading to the free throw.
Bucks have a 1 seed. They've got to come back, Dan.
All right, Reese, we got a good one going here. 3:56 to go into Greensboro.
A loss by Kansas in the Big 12 tonight would open the door for the winner of the ACC to get a 1 seed.
And would you put the winner of the ACC, assuming it's one of the top teams, ahead of the winner of the Big 10, assuming it's one of the top teams?
I would. Because of the path that they're going to have to take. I mean, if you project out and you would say, okay, if Duke advances and they play Syracuse tomorrow in the semifinal, and then Syracuse knocks off Virginia, how do you keep Syracuse off the 1 line?
First lead for the Orange since late in the first half after the free throws by Ennis, and they've got the ball again. 3-on-1. Ennis, fair, and a foul by Turner. And North Carolina State, the last 4 or 5 minutes, plain and simple, Sean, they've been sloppy with the basketball.
If you turn it over, you give life to your opponent. Tyler Ennis once again in the right place at the right time, delivers the pass, and then the hard foul underneath will get C.J. Fair to the free throw line. Back-to-back possessions, though, where you have the block shot and the run out and the foul, and then that one, the turnover that leads to a run out. They're not having to play in the half court.
Over to Janine.
And Dan and Sean, that's exactly what Mark Gottfried was just addressing with his team, the sloppiness, telling them they've got to be firmer with the ball. They've got to make smarter decisions. They've got to stick with what was working earlier in this game. And then he looked at them all at the end of that timeout and said, 4 more minutes, guys. Come on, we've got to give it all we've got. They do not want another outcome like they had last month in that 1-point loss to the Orange.
They came in here saying this is an opportunity to get a big win, improve the resume, get closer to getting to Sunday here in the ACC tournament. But they have given away the lead as they have given away the basketball in the last few minutes here in this game. And Syracuse is up by 2. Warren. Rejected by Grant. Cooney. Ennis. And Vandenberg got a piece of it. Now here comes Barber. He's got Warren with him. And he is held by Cooney and will shoot a couple.
Cooney was trying to foul, but he was trying to foul on the floor so he wouldn't get up to shoot 2. But they gave it to him and awarded it a missed opportunity in transition that time for Syracuse. And what a rebound, though, at this end of the floor. The block shot. And then going the opposite direction.
So Cat Barber to the line. The freshman is a 69% free throw shooter on the season.
Valuing the basketball important last night for North Carolina State. They held a 15-5 advantage over Miami in order to get into this game, and it's turnovers here in the second half that has caused them some issues.
That is the 11th tie in this game. Look how close it's been all night long. And fans wearing both orange and red starting to rise to their feet here in Greensboro. Fair with his offhand called for the offensive foul. Leonard Freeman stepping in to take the charge.
Frustration all night long for C.J. Fair. The defensive rotation is set before he gathered and went up. That's a good call.
Now the Wolfpack with a chance to reclaim the lead. Wolfpack fans raising the noise level in the building. Turner with a deep one, banks it home.
Ralston Turner did not call glass A little smile and smirk to the bench as he walked back down the other way. He has taken some poor shots from the outside, but that one happens to go down.
Nearing the final 2 minutes, Syracuse again trailing. Grant makes it a 1-point game.
I love the way he just rocked into that. Got himself set, a little side dribble, stepping into his shot.
And you can see what they were missing when they were without him, when he had the back troubles recently. NC State not in a rush in the half court. Turner down to Warren. Warren from the baseline. The lead back to 3.
If you give him an inch, he's going to get his shot off. He does not need a lot of room to elevate up over the top.
He's got 26. Ennis. And an offensive foul.
Does that remind you of a play that we saw not that long ago between these two teams down the stretch? After Desmond Lee dribbled the ball off his foot, Tyler Ennis was called with the charge. Extending his arm out. Barber sold it then. And he sells it once again. His arm was out, but not a lot. And Barber, he brought it home.
So the Wolfpack with the ball and the lead with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. Pressure now from the Orange, and a tie-up will give them the ball back. What a big play that could be.
Well, good job defensively, Coach Godfrey. Upset with Turner on the catch. You've got to realize that double team is coming. Instead, if you bring the ball down to your waist and you bend over, you feed it right to the defense. And then Syracuse very astutely jumped in and grabbed it.
Syracuse ball, 1 minute 10 to go.
Tight games have been the storyline here at the ACC tournament.
And the storyline for Syracuse much of the season. Benajay in the game right now. No Cooney. Ennis. Into the paint. Over Vandenberg. Can't get it to go. And State comes out with the ball. You play him straight up or do you foul?
Coach Boeheim said no foul.
And Mark Gottfried will take a timeout.
We saw Coach Boeheim on that. They had opportunities to win. Coach Boeheim felt they should have beat them the first time they met him. He felt they should beat North Carolina as well. They did not. And those opportunities might come back to haunt them.
1 point loss to Syracuse. 1 point loss to Carolina. Some people can't even bear to watch. The stress is too great. We are in the final minute of regulation. Barber at the point. Barber all the way. And Syracuse ball. The shot clock is turned off. Benajay driving and makes it a 1 point game.
Good job. And very smart play
for the Wolfpack. It's Lee, Warren, Lewis, Turner, Barber. So he's got his best ball handlers, his best shooters. No Washington, no Vandenberg.
The shot clock is off now, so you've got to make sure. You might want to trap immediately. If you can trap and create a turnover, then that's great. But if not, you got to foul right away.
Arrow belongs to State. Warren. And he is fouled.
And a good job actually by Grant that time, trying to close that door and maybe draw the contact as Warren was ripping through.
Grant's fourth. Warren is a 71% free throw shooter, but he is 8 for 10 tonight. Even if he makes both, still a 1 possession game. Syracuse 2 timeouts, shot clock turned off. Freeman, Vandenberg back for State. Cooney replaces Benajay now for the Orange.
There's not another player on North Carolina State's roster really that you want at the free throw line. You want the conference player of the year in the biggest moment of your season, trying to extend it out, trying to hold on to the hopes of making the NCAA tournament.
Got them both. Needed the rim on both, but he got them both. Quick 2 or look for a good 3.
There you go, 2.
And Ennis, a tough shot. Follow missed by Grant. Ennis for 3. Christmas. Cooney. Wild shots by the Orange. Fair for 3. Another offensive rebound. Cooney And it's out of bounds to NC State after as wild a sequence with as many missed shots as you will ever see.
Doesn't that kind of sum up the night for Syracuse? Numerous opportunities, just could not make the shot.
Firing blanks.
And they weren't even close. I mean, that was the part that was shocking.
That's all he had to do was touch it. That'll end the game. And the North Carolina State Wolfpack